Paul McCartney was / is overrated.
What the
So I listened to the Beatles, like y'all know. I think I did 2 or 3 videos on the Beatles on like my entire channel. I'm not gonna lie, in my opinion, Queen is the best band ever. And I know that the Beatles, like a lot of people say they, you know, pioneered a lot of things for music. And I don't really completely disagree with that, but they've never been my top band. Honestly, my top 2 are Queen and the band Journey. Hey guys! Sorry I'm not back in my usual spot. I've been coming to my parents' house a lot. As you can see, we're doing another, I think this is my second video of unpopular music opinions, and I highly recommend you guys follow my Instagram because most of the time when I do like Q&As or I do videos where I ask for your input like this one, it's usually done on my Instagram. I'll let you guys type your response or answer a question on there. I'm probably gonna do a Q&A at some point because I think it's been almost a year since my last Q&A. So yeah, I'll probably do that at some point, but thank you to all of you guys who sent questions. Honestly, it was mostly like a few of you that sent multiple questions or multiple answers for your unpopular music opinions. So thank you guys for letting me know. I'm gonna try to answer these to the best of my ability. I've looked through some of them and some I have a strong opinion, and then some of them I'm kind of like mutual, I guess. Like I don't really have an opinion because I may not know enough about the artist or something like that. So anyway, let's go ahead and begin. So this says, Janet Jackson is pop's most underrated legend. I kind of see it because I know everybody pretty much knows who Janet Jackson is, and the thing about Janet Jackson is, yes, she's Michael's brother, but
That is not correct.
she's Michael's brother. Not the misgendering. Like, damn, I know Pride Month's over, but Jesus. Okay.
Let's go, lesbians, let's go!
She's Michael's sister, and, you know, everybody knows that, but even though Michael was, you know, so famous, Janet held her own. Like, Janet was her own artist, and I see Janet, I don't think of Michael every time I see her kind of thing. She's a standalone, talented, in her own lane kind of artist. She does have the talent and the skill to be great on her own, right? She has a lot of fans. She's doing tours still. You know, I see it really full. Like, people go and see Janet all the time. A lot of you guys I saw Janet in concert not too long ago. So I think she definitely is a legend. The AMAs, didn't she receive like an Icon Award? So she still is like very popular. I will say Michael, he's obviously like the Jackson that I keep up the most with. I don't know as much about Janet. Like, I've just started doing some reaction videos to her live performances on here. And like the other Jacksons, I know like who's who and their names and a little bit about them, but nowhere near as much as I know about Michael. So y'all let me know in the comments how you feel about Janet being underrated. Oh, by the way, I have a story about Janet before I move on. My boyfriend's dad worked at a restaurant in Atlanta called Nikado's, and Janet actually went there a long time ago, and he got to actually see her. One Day in Your Life by Michael Jackson is one of his best ballads. Seriously underrated. Highly agree. It makes me emotional every time I listen to it. I literally had to cover it because I love the song so much. Nothing can top Michael's version, but that song genuinely just makes me think of like getting older and looking back on your life and just like the decisions you've made, especially when it comes to like love. And it's just, it is such a good song. I highly agree. Taylor Swift is overrated. I don't know how to feel about Taylor Swift. Can I just be honest? I have her Fearless album. I might actually, it's the platinum edition, right? I knew I had it up there. But yeah, I have this, right? And I know every single song on this album, and I loved this album as a child. And I loved her country era, and I loved her curly hair era too. Like, and she still brings out the curly hair every now and then, right? I really was like really into Taylor Swift at one time. And I kind of liked when she started going into pop music instead of like pop country music. And I did watch, I think it was Reputation tour on Netflix when that was a thing. And I liked it. I personally have never seen myself like becoming obsessed with Taylor Swift. I'm gonna be so honest, her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, just him when like they were asking him how do you feel about playing at the Super Bowl when Trump was there, and he was like, I'm honored. I was like, ew. I even watched her Miss Americana documentary because I'm just curious to like know more about this woman because I don't know how to feel about her, but I definitely don't see myself ever becoming a big fan of her because I'm not crazy about her recent music. I'm not going to speak too much on it, but I'm not really sure how to feel about her as a person, but I do like some of her music, and I've never been to one of her concerts, so I don't know, like maybe if I went it would be fun. George Michael is an underrated vocalist. I think George Michael, I've said this for a while, but I think George Michael is gonna be my new obsession because I watched the documentary about Last Christmas when that came out on Netflix. I watch a lot of documentaries and, you know, music ones too, and that was really interesting. And George Michael is beautiful. And isn't he also Greek? Like, I'm a fellow Greek, so
Yes!
you know, hey, someone's representing. Yeah, George Michael has a beautiful voice. I know that much, and I love a lot of his music, so I have a feeling he's probably going to end up on my wall next. I used to have a shirt from him, but it was kind of small, so I got rid of it. I didn't like the way it fit, but it said Faith on it, and it had his face on it. I kind of want to get another George Michael shirt, to be honest. Paul McCartney was/is overrated.
What the f?
So I listened to the Beatles, like y'all know. I think I did 2 or 3 videos on the Beatles on like my entire channel. I'm not gonna lie, in my opinion, Queen is the best band ever to me. And I know that the Beatles, like a lot of people say they, you know, pioneered a lot of things for music, and I don't really completely disagree with that. My top 2 are Queen and the band Journey. And I think it's because as someone that sings, like I really admire talented vocalists, and yeah, the Beatles can sing, but I feel like compared to Freddie, this is just my opinion, like I prefer Freddie's voice. Steve Perry has an absolutely incredible, powerful voice. And so, I don't know, like Paul McCartney, I do like some of his songs. Like Maybe I'm Amazed, I know that's a popular one, but I really like that song. Their music, I listen to it occasionally, but nowhere near as much as like Queen and Journey. I really did try to get into them at one time though. Like I was really trying to make content about them on my channel, but I always just found myself like gravitating more towards like Queen, of course, songs with like really amazing like frontman singers, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure like lyrically the Beatles do have a lot of great songs, but if we're being totally honest, I really enjoy the sound of music, like the way it sounds. I can kind of excuse not as great lyrics for like an amazing vocalist or like amazing harmonies, you know, amazing instrumental, like, but anyway, John Legend is a Stevie with no wonder.
And
I will say that All of Me song, it was good when it came out, and now I can't even listen to it anymore because it was so overplayed. And it's a shame because I do think John Legend is a good singer. Comparing to Stevie Wonder, there's just no comparison. Like, John Legend is good, but Stevie Wonder is just, like, on another level. John Legend's good. I don't really know a lot of his songs, to be honest, besides the singles and, like, the popular ones, so I guess I can't say too much, but Diana Ross wasn't the best singer of the Supremes. Now, Florence Ballard. A lot of people say that she was the best singers in the Supremes. Now, I actually really do love Florence's voice. I don't listen to the Supremes like every day. You know what I mean? I only know a handful of songs, maybe, if that. But I do like Diana. I know she got like a lot of backlash for The Wiz. People were saying she was like too old. I know Dorothy's supposed to be like a young girl. But I still liked her version of Home. I don't know. And I also like Stephanie's version of Home. I don't know. It's kind of a touchy subject, but I mean, I like Diana, and she recently was performing somewhere, I forget where, but she did a good job, you know. I mean, she's getting older now. She still sounds pretty good. But yeah, I know most people say Florence Ballard is the best vocally in the group, even if Diana was in the front, right? So y'all let me know what you think about that, because again, I feel like that's just one of those things I don't really have an opinion on as much since I'm not a regular Supremes listener. Beyonce is not on Michael Jackson's level. I know this is a huge conversation, especially on Twitter. I have just stopped engaging in these conversations, to be honest, because I'm kind of over the comparing of artists. I feel like it's totally okay to love an artist that, like, for example, I posted Whitney Houston's national anthem on 4th of July because I was just like kind of depressed because like the state of America.
Disappointing.
She is literally one of the best vocalists to ever exist, right? Like the power is unreal, but That doesn't mean that just because Whitney had like amazing technique, she had this powerful, strong voice, like one of the best, that you can't like other singers that, yeah, if you compared them to Whitney, they're not as good. I don't know. I used to do that and I just don't anymore. I'm like, why even do that? Because it's taking the fun out of music. I feel like Beyonce, she's doing her thing. She has an amazing voice. I can say that much. She has an amazing voice. Michael obviously had an amazing voice. Michael, I feel like we don't even need to compare them, to be honest. I feel like Beyonce, she's her own legend, and so is Michael. Tears for Fears are one of the best bands of all time. Is this It's the End of the World? Oh, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. People still acting up from the 4th of July, I see. I do know this band. I personally disagree, but that's just a personal opinion. I don't see anyone topping Queen for me. I'm just gonna be so honest. Like, I really don't. But I do know the band. I do like some of their songs. Rebbie Jackson had the potential to be as big as Michael and Janet. I've only listened to maybe 1 or 2 songs. I'm not gonna lie. Again, Michael's my main focus. I listen to the other Jacksons, but nowhere near as much as Michael. I don't know anywhere near as much about them either, like in their personal lives and stuff. But from what I've seen, a lot of people have agreed that Rebbie Jackson has an amazing voice. She is very talented vocally. And I don't disagree with that. Like, I gotta agree with those people. Somebody just said, looking at me, Sabrina Carpenter. Like, do you not like the song? Do you like the song? I actually don't know that song. I got into Sabrina when she started like really becoming more mainstream. So I have heard some of her songs from like emails I can't send and stuff, but I haven't heard every single song by Sabrina. So I know one thing, that her album, the artwork on it, and like stuff that has come out, like there's a lot of controversy surrounding her right now. I'm like, geez, I blinked and like all of a sudden, I feel like it really happens with a lot of women artists. Very quickly they will like end up in some kind of controversy, and I'm just like, how did we get here? Michael Jackson, and I actually don't know this person. Hold on, let me look it up. This is I'm pretty sure this person actually messaged me about these two together, Michael and this person, and talking about it. Known professionally, she's a French singer and songwriter. She sold more than 30 million records, and she's currently 63 years old, and that's her. She's very pretty. But it says, they could have the best potential for English, French, or English duet. I might have to look into this real quick and just see what I think. Let me just listen to her voice real quick. Okay, I gotta agree with this comment. I just listened to a little bit of My Soul is Slashed. I kind of hear how they could, I mean, their music style is kind of similar. I could see how their voices would mesh well, so I actually gotta agree with you on that. Mariah Carey doesn't get enough credit for her songwriting and producing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did she do the songwriting for Butterfly? Because I love that song. Mariah, I know a lot of people talk about how, like, you know, her voice obviously isn't the same as it was. I just acknowledge that, you know, in her prime, she was like truly untouchable, you know, and I feel like she deserves her flowers, you know what I mean? Like, she worked so hard. She sang so much. I mean, if you're singing constantly, obviously things can happen to your voice, you know, but she's still like up there doing her thing. Mariah, I mean, no, you cannot deny that, like, Vision of Love, she was a beast to be reckoned with. I actually have a CD. I think it's up here too. It's MTV Unplugged. I might have it up here. I don't think I have the MTV Unplugged performance up here, but I do have her Music Box album. Yeah, I mean, Mariah is amazing. Her vocal agility is seriously insane. Elvis Presley is not the king of rock and roll. It's Little Richard and Chuck Berry. Okay, Elvis is one of those people that I really don't know about either. I know when the Elvis movie came out, for example, which I did eventually watch, but you kind of have to be careful with biopics because they're not always 100% what happened. Like with the Queen biopic, like some of that was dramatized, right? You know, like it's not the exact thing that happened with the band. And it just happens with a lot of like recreations of stuff. As far as that side of it, like the Elvis movie made it look like Elvis was inspired by it and like appreciated the black men and women that basically pioneered the genre of rock and roll. Like, and that's kind of like with Beyonce's Cowboy Carter, you know, she's in there basically showing that a lot of these genres of music that we love have been created by black people. And country is also one of those genres. So Elvis, I don't hate his music. I've just never gotten the appeal. Like, I'm just a Michael girl. Sorry. I'm more of a Michael girl. His music is more my style. It's more pop. Anything I feel like before the 70s, I have a harder time listening to because it is a big difference from what music sounds like now to like music in the 60s. And like, I think that's also why I had a hard time like becoming really, really into the Beatles. I know Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and oh my God, I'm blanking on the name, but the Hound Dog song, This Queen. Like, we gotta give them credit where it's due, you know what I'm saying? So don't completely disagree with your comment at all. Madonna is overrated. I know a lot of people in the MJ fandom don't like Madonna. I will say, like, I know some people credit her for a lot of like feminist achievements. I feel like there's a lot of women that have started breaking boundaries when it comes to like owning their sexuality. Not feeding into the purity, like protecting the purity of women, I guess, is the only way I can explain it. And they're kind of just like reclaiming their sexuality for themselves kind of thing. But to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of Madonna's music. I love the song Hung Up. That was my jam as a child. I still listen to it today. Janet Jackson is the queen of pop. Can't really like argue with that, to be honest. I don't really have a list of like women entertainers that I'm like, oh yeah, like it's them. I honestly don't know. Y'all let me know what you think about that in the comments, especially Janet Jackson lovers. I don't really know, but I just want to say I love your videos so much. Thank you. I always see you like watching my story and liking my story, so I really appreciate it. Justin Timberlake may be problematic, but he makes good music. No, like his producers who he's working with, he made some good music. I love Mirrors, I loved Cry Me a River, even Sexy Back was a banger. I mean, there are bangers, but that man, like, what are you doing messing with Britney and Janet?
So I have a problem with you.
Like, get out, get out. March 2026 for BTS needs to come soon and fast. The bank's saying no, but the need for BTS to come back and get on stage is saying yes. But I also want them to be ready and like, you know, take time for themselves to like regroup as a group. K-pop groups with the best music have some of the worst fan bases. I don't know if anyone agrees. The bigger the group, or the bigger the fan base, like the more you're gonna find crazies. I absolutely agree with that, especially on Twitter.
You already know.
There are some, like, people with no morals flock to Twitter, I swear. I don't know how people live like that. It makes me so anxious and it does not seem like fun. I actually left Twitter for a while because of just the amount of negativity I would see on there, and also because it became X and like boo, but I have to agree with that. I feel like the bigger the fandom, you just get some crazies. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for your opinions.
That's my opinion! Don't you get it?
And I will see you guys in the next video, and make sure to follow my Instagram because again, I'm probably going to do a Q&A at some point, so look out for that. But I love you guys. Bye.